To answer this question, the first thing we need to do is define what is blended learning. E-learning started 10 years ago, and a lot of companies went into e-learning thinking that's the solution to everything because we're going to give access to online training to more people for less money, etc. And then, of course, it didn't work because we just gave access to 300 modules to a participant. And of course, how can you expect someone to know exactly where they needed to go in the different e-learning modules? So it didn't work because of a lack of tutoring and support and follow-up. Then we moved to blended learning, but blended learning in most people's mind is just a combination of e-learning modules and workshop. And that is not efficient, and that is not blended learning. The idea behind blended learning is to optimize training and development. People today are digital learners. We consider that 80% of what people learn is informal learning. What it means is on websites, they read the press, they go to different social media, etc. So this is something we need to take into consideration. And you could have a blended learning approach without e-learning if it doesn't make sense to use e-learning. So blended learning to us is the right combination of the right training tools in order to address the specific objectives that we have identified. It could be some assessments to create awareness. It could be some assessments, some online surveys to create the awareness of the participants. It could be virtual delivery to follow up on implementation. So it's not just the use of e-learning and workshop. A blended approach will be usually in 3 steps. The first step will be the preparation, in which we are going to assess people, to bring them knowledge, so that we can really focus the second step, which is the workshop, on its added value. There's no added value in a face-to-face training explaining, giving the knowledge. What is important in face-to-face training is to practice on what you've learned, role plays, case studies, etc. And the third step, which is vital for all sales managers, is implementation. So after the training, not just let people go on the field and apply this knowledge, but follow up on implementation, make sure that the plan of action is implemented. This can be done through virtual delivery, it can be done through additional online tutoring, online resources, etc. The important thing is not to think in terms of training, but to think in terms of development, because individual development is an ongoing process, and this is what we call blended learning.